Welcome, everybody. The NFL regular season is over, which means it's time to look forward to the NFL offseason. Today, we're going to do an Indianapolis Colts 2023 NFL mock draft. All right, as mentioned, we're going to be talking about the Indianapolis Colts and their 2023 NFL mock draft. To start things off, they fired Frank Reich this year. They hired Jeff Saturday as the interim coach, and he's still in play to be the full-time head coach. They're still going through candidates, so it's kind of hard to get a grasp on what they might do without knowing who the head coach is. But we do know they're looking for a new franchise quarterback. They are tired of going through veterans every year, and they want to get a young guy they can develop. Maybe go with that young defense, maybe get some help for him in this draft as well. So we're going to start it off with the Indianapolis Colts. They are pick 4. As you can see, Bryce Young already off the board. And that's probably going to happen in the 2023 NFL draft. He's probably going to be off the board within the first couple picks. C.J. Stroud could be as well. Will Levis could be as well, depending on how trades go. But this is a reminder that we are using the NFL mock draft database because they have most of the players that I've seen are actually in the draft. A lot of other simulators will have players who are going back to college still in the simulator. And I want to try to make this as real as possible. We also will not be accepting trades. It's before free agency. It's hard to tell what trades teams might do, but also the value in a lot of these simulators doesn't really add up. And so we don't want to go down that road. I'll just stick with the picks the teams have for now. The Colts, with this mock draft, they have a chance to get C.J. Stroud or Will Levis. I have a sneaky suspicion that Chris Ballard might like Will Levis better than anyone else in this class. But I personally like C.J. Stroud the most out of any quarterback in the class. I think he's got good accuracy, can put a ball in a bucket. It's incredible. He showed more playmaking ability with his legs against Georgia, which is something scouts really, really liked. And I think he can be successful. I think if they give him some weapons and that defense holds up, he can be successful in the AFC South. So we're going to go C.J. Stroud with the first pick. They finally get that young quarterback after going through so many veterans. I would not put them out of play for other veterans like Aaron Rodgers, who's on the trade block right now. But I think they would prefer to get a quarterback in this draft class to kind of help develop. All right, so the second pick, they do need some offensive line help. They do need some help on the defense, particularly edge rusher. But with this one, I'm going Zay Flowers, the wide receiver out of Boston College. I really like him. I have a first-round grade on him right now. A little bit smaller, but he can move into the slot in between Alec Pierce and Michael Pittman. His speed's going to stretch a defense. He's a really big play threat. I think that could be just a little bit different change-up from what you get from Alec Pierce and Michael Pittman. And it could really help out C.J. Stroud. You want to get your young quarterback another weapon to use to make sure he can be successful, even if you do have other needs. This one I don't really think is going to happen, but Darnell Wright would be the pick if he's here, so we're going to go ahead and take him. Offensive tackle out of Tennessee. He's a right tackle. It might make you shuffle the offensive line up a little bit. This simulator says they need offensive tackle. I think they could get by more with interior lineman help in this one. They obviously have Quentin Nelson at left guard, but at right guard maybe. But Darnell Wright is a powerful run blocker. It's just a prototypical right tackle. I think he has a chance to go in the first round, if not the second. But if he falls to the Colts at pick 79, they have to run to the podium to make that pick. It's more of a value thing than even a need thing, even though they do need him. But he is that good of a player. All right, the next pick we have might be looking more at defense in this one. You got your help for C.J. Stroud with the wide receiver. They already have Jonathan Taylor. You get the offensive lineman. Let's get this defense some help. They're a little bit banged up this past year, but there are some opportunities to kind of help this defense. You got Deonte Banks, the corner out of Maryland, Trevius Hodges-Tomlinson, the corner out of TCU, who is the nephew of LaDainian Tomlinson. He's more of a slot guy. Deonte Banks is more of an outside guy. Probably will bring Kenny Moore back. We'll see if he hits the open market, but we'll see if they bring him back. Deonte Banks can be an outside corner, so that's why I'm going with Banks over Hodges-Tomlinson in this one. I think he's a guy who could go higher than this. I've seen him go higher in different mock drafts. I had a pretty good season at Maryland this past year, and does set us up to maybe pick an edge rusher in these middle rounds, where I think the value of the edge rusher really is more in the middle rounds, even more so at the top of the draft. All right, so we have another one up here too. I'm going to try to say his name. Adetomiwa Adebawore out of Northwestern. Pretty athletic player. Obviously has experience going up against Peter Skoronski, the Northwestern offensive tackle who's in this draft, who's going to go pretty early. He could be a pretty good pick. Mike Morris on the defensive line. If you're trying to get someone to go with DeForest Buckner, that could be an option. Nick Herbig for linebacker depth. That could be someone. Or Nick Broker, who's he played offensive tackle to start his Ole Miss career, moved inside over this past year. He moved inside and played well there as well. But I think I'm going to go with the Northwestern edge rusher. I said his name once. I'm not going to try it again out of respect to him. But that gets you another pretty good edge rusher. Yannick Ngakoue is likely going to walk in free agency and really wasn't that good this year. So get another edge rusher who might be able to help out. I would also try to address this in free agency. We're not quite there yet, but if you get to free agency, try to address the edge rusher there if you're going to try to get a quarterback and help him out with some help with some of these picks coming up. All right, the next pick up we have pick number 205. Ronnie Hickman was a pretty good safety for Ohio State over his time. Isaiah Land is a linebacker out of Florida A&M. Was able to see him earlier in the year before FBS season has really picked up, and he looked pretty good for Florida A&M. I believe he's more of an edge rusher. I haven't had a chance to dive too much into his film yet, but he could be a fit here. Servosier Dennis was a more physical linebacker out of Pitt. He could provide some depth here. I think we're gonna go with Isaiah Land, more of a versatile player. Maybe could play more linebacker too, but I really do think that they could use some edge rushing help. I think he can get after the quarterback. I would go with him. All right, next pick up. At this point in the draft, I typically like to go best player available. Only 2 picks left, 223, 238. They do need some interior line help. Don't think we're going to get anyone. Well, could do Ricky Stromberg. He's more of a center prospect than anything else, but maybe they can move him into guard. Ryan Kelly's already at center, but Stromberg was a pretty good center for Arkansas over his time there. Really experienced player. Helped set up that rushing attack for Arkansas over the last several years. All right, pick 238. Again, looking to go for best player available more than even the need. Tyler Lacey had a pretty good 2021 season. Didn't have the best 2022, but was a pretty good player. You can fit him next to DeForest Buckner maybe in different situations. Don't know if he'll make the roster with the 7th round pick there, but not a bad idea to take someone who had shown productivity in college. All right, so for this mock draft, we had C.J. Stroud. We're getting Zay Flowers, who they'll probably move to the slot. He could play outside too, but probably move to the slot. Really help out that offense when you have Alec Pierce on one side, Michael Pittman on the other. Paris Campbell is a free agent right now, so we don't know if he's coming back. Darnell Wright, the right tackle. Again, more of a value pick here. They do need offensive line help, but at 79, if he falls to 79, I think a lot of people will be surprised. Deontay Banks to fit the outside corner role. Remember, we could have gone with an inside corner, a nickel corner, but I think Kenny Moore might be back, so that might be a reason why they go outside corner there. Get some edge rushers there. Ricky Stromberg for the interior offensive line. He's a guy who I think could be a pro for a long time if given the opportunity. Maybe not all the athletic traits that you're looking for in a top-tier pick, but if you're near the end of the draft and you get a chance to pick Ricky Stromberg, I think it's a solid pick. And then Tyler Lacey to close it out. That's the mock draft for the Indianapolis Colts. I really do like this one. My turn to remind everyone to like and subscribe to the channel. If you want to see more NFL team mock drafts, we will be back with more over the coming weeks. Thanks, everyone, for watching. We'll see you soon.